Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and today we are going to continue from the previous earlier videos where we was implementing Ionic app, and this session is very focused on the UI development of it. So let's get started. So what are we going to do here is we are going to build a simple page. In the earlier videos we created this simple application which is a tab based application from Ionic. It has just 3 simple tabs. We are going to change this tab 1 with creating a simple form which looks something like this. So imagine that I have a simple form which has a simple card field, and this card has 2 input checkboxes, or sorry, the input components. So one is, I call it as a title, and the other one I have a description. So once I have these 2 fields, so what I'm going to do is I am going to just let me take this out. All right. So I am going to have a simple button which act like a submit button for this form, and we are going to have a simple to-do list at the bottom. As soon as I click on the submit, it gets populated this to-do list inside the same page. Okay, so I call this as to do 1, this one is as to do 2. Right, this is just a simple list what we are going to have it. So we are going to build a simple form, and we'll have this set of fields and buttons. This title will be the input text box, and this description will be a text area, and this is a simple Ionic button, and then we'll have a control defined for that particular button, and then we're going to display this list of items as an Ionic list. So these are the components what we need. Let me get started with the simple form what is required. For now, let me change what we have in tab 1. Right, from the earlier videos when we created a simple application, this is what the UI looks like. I'm going to change a bit of it, the Ionic title for this particular tab 1 page, which I'm going to keep it here, and then I'm going to maximize a bit. Then I'll just say this is a to-do form. Hope nothing has changed. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and say the title of this is to do. Okay, this is changed. So I'm going to remove this app explore container, which I don't need it for now. So I'm going to modify this page with a simple form, and then I'm going to have a form group, and that form group I give it as a to do form. So what I'm going to do here is I'm trying to create a form group, and creating this simple form in Angular you can create the form in 2 different ways. One, you can use something called template driven forms, and then we have something called reactive forms. This reactive forms has advantage over template driven form, where we can specify the required validator, the custom validators, as well as we will have more control in terms of changing, resetting the form. Right, so we are going to use this for now, and predominantly use any application outside in the market. We'll be use Angular, then we'll be using this reactive forms for the development. So let's concentrate on the reactive form so that you guys will get used to it, rather than building in a template driven. It's better to go with the reactive forms. So for these reactive forms you need 2 components. One is called form builder, that is used to create a form, which internally uses something called form group. Right, so we are going to use this set of components. These set of components, how the difference and how exactly reactive form supports, the complete details will be posted part of the Angular videos in upcoming series. So for now, let's go ahead and build this reactive form. All right, so once I have this form, so I need to have a variable defined inside my the TS file. For now I'll just keep it as array, and then let me go ahead and build a simple ion item, which is ion label. So this label I just give it as a title, and then I have a ion input, which is a simple ion input. So let me go ahead and look at the UI. Let's see how it looks like. If you look at it, it's coming very odd looking UI, but for now, and it is saying that cannot bind the form group because we need to import the required form reactive forms module. Let me go ahead and import the reactive form modules here. Right, so here I need to say reactive form modules. Alright, I need to restart the server. I'll do it in a while. For now, ion label and everything, we need to put it part of the card, right? So we need a card here. So these set of components you can see directly from the Ionic components, what is available here in this particular URL. I'll copy this URL into the description later so that you guys can have a quick view on the list of available components. So if you look at it, I'm going to have ion card, which is the ion card component, which looks something like this. So I can build something kind of a card implementation. So I'm going to use this Ionic card header and then Ionic card content. So I have this Ionic card, so I'm going to keep Ionic card header, which I'll just say to do creation. Alright, so let me go ahead and look at it, and the card content will be I'm going to go ahead and copy this label and the input field box. Let's go ahead and see. This is how it looks like, correct? So it's saying, right, we can look into this error later, but for now, if you look at it, I just have a to do creation and then I have this title. So what I'm going to do is, for now, let's not concentrate on this form because this form needs to come inside the iron card, in the iron card content, and this form I'll just keep it here for now. Okay, so here I'm just creating a simple to do form which is required. For now I'll remove this so that I build the UI, then I'll bind to a form. All right, hope that error will resolve. Yes, so I'm going to call one more variable, which I will call it as description for the to do. Right, description, and then this will be text area. So if you look at it, I have a title and the text area. Let me maximize a bit. So this is the title and this is text area. So I'm going to have a simple button. So I'll call it as ion button. And here I can say submit. And I'll just give a margin, style, margin left. And just give maybe like 150 pixels to push the button to the center of the screen a little bit. And then let me look at how does it look like. Okay, I've gone a little bit further, just keep 100. Okay, so I have this title, description, but this form looking not good enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change a bit of colors. I'm going to put some the input label. It should look like an input text box rather than a simple plain page, correct? So I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap that in ion item as well as the section part. So I'm going to define this as one section. Let's see how it looks like. There's no change, but I'm going to wrap this in ion item field. It should be one each. It should not have label on this one, but for now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this label, but for this label even we can say, you know, what type of it is. Whether it's a stack, if you look at it, it is currently in the inline mode. We can even say it's stack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and see ion label. Okay, it's here. You can say the primary, which I'm going to use the color, as well as say, let me check it as the position as stacked. Position as stacked, and this one I'll just say the color, say primary color. Let's look at the title. See, It looks a bit cleaner and it has a bit of margin around the form. And let me go ahead and do it for the another one, which is my, just copy the same set of code and just put it into the text area label. Okay, I'll call this as a description. And this one I'll wrap it inside an item. Alright, hope this looks much better compared to the before. Right, if you can look at it, I have two different sections. One is the text area and one is the input text box, and then I have a submit. So I have this margin. I'll just give a margin, could say top, maybe 10 pixel, just to push it a little bit down. All right, so once I have this simple form, I'm going to bound into a form. So as I explained earlier, we'll be using reactive form for this particular session. So reactive forms, we need form builder and form group. I'm going to stop the server here and I'm going to import the required module, which is already imported, the reactive forms module. And then I'm going to go ahead and build the respective page TypeScript file to do form. For now, I'll just say in the constructor, I need a form builder. And this form builder will create me a form builder object using group, which is a form group. So I'm going to go ahead and say title, which is text. I would say the default value is empty, right? And then it'll have a description, which is again the default value is this. So now I'm going to bound this particular form back into my HTML code. So how can I do that? I just need to go ahead for this particular form. Let me remove this section. I just need to say I need to bound form group and bonding to say to the form. All right, so and then for this input I need to say form control name equals title, and this for text area again form control name equals description. So once this is being bound, and if there are no errors, if you look at it, my server is down. I'm going to restart the server here. Ionic server. It takes a while, just a couple of seconds. Alright, so it is opening up a new window, but for now let me go ahead and use the existing window which I had. So if you look at it, there are no errors, it loaded perfectly. I'll just say the title would be, let's say Monday. I want to do maybe purchase some books, do some additional activities, right? So when you click on it, I want to get these form values and put it into a array variable to display it in the to-do list, right? So let me go ahead and change that. Okay, so as soon as I submit the form, I'll say to do submit, which is the method I'm going to invoke, and then I'm going to say I need to have one variable which is I call to do. Okay, and then say it is array variable of type any, and then here I'll just say I already have the values, so I'm going to print these values of the form to do form, as well as let me print it out and see the complete form group. What does it look like? Okay, so say Monday test 1 2 3, enter. Okay, so here we created the actual method inside this TS file, but we did not bound to an HTML. So this is the button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bound a click event on this method. So as soon as I click this button, I want to display the form group. So let me go ahead and print it again, Monday, and then test. So if you look at the form group, I have this value which is Monday and test. If you look at it, the entire form is bound and I have the value in my TypeScript file now, and this form I can use it to do either, you can save it to the database, or for now I'm not going to use any database. I'm just going to use a intermediate temporary variable which is of type array, and then I'm going to push that content into the array. So for now, what I'm going to do, I'll just go ahead and use this variable which I created called to do's to push this value. So this to do's dot push. So what I'm going to push, I'm going to push this dot to do form dot the value, correct? So once I have this, so as soon as I type any data here, this will push into that particular value. So cannot read property of undefined, which is of type push. So I need to have this variable defined equals, say, empty array, right? Okay, to say Tofik to do one. So it means this particular to do has the value as of now. So I'm going to display that to do into a different container, the entire list. I'm just trying to arrange a bit so that it looks a little pretty. Alright, so once I have this card, I'm going to minimize it, and this is the header. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the list of values here, right? So for that, I'm going to display, as per our design, we are going to have this in a different card. So I am going to do is ion card, and I use ng for, let's say I want that to do of to do's, right? And then I just want to display some value. So what I'll do is to do dot title. So let me go ahead and see the value which is displayed. As of now, I don't have any value, so I'm going to say title is Monday, and then say description. So this is Monday. So this is the form, and if I keep on, this is going to print the complete set of data here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to display it in an accurate manner, this to do. So I will have a header, and I'm going to say to do dot title. So I'll say Tofik test 1 2 3 2 3 4. So I have a card, and I'm going to put into an item. All right, let's see. Okay, looks pretty. Let me go ahead and refresh the page. Test. Alright, so I can see a bit of underline here which I do not want, so I'm going to take out this one. So I'll just say this should be one of the section of the page. This is just to arrange it bit, right? And then I'm going to have a ion content. So say card content. So this is ion card header. So I'll just say to do dot description. So let's go ahead and look at the values. Say Monday, I want to purchase books. So if you look at it, so this is the header and these are the actual values. If I go and add, you can see the complete list of data over here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use, I'll just try to modify a bit because it looks much better. So I'm going to put this into a header. Alright, so if you look at it, just have a header. So let's see how it looks like. Test 1 2 3 4 5 whatever, and then this is how it looks like. Alright, so I have the entire form where I'll be creating a simple to-do list, and then I will be using a simple checkbox here where as soon as I click on it, I want to take out from the list. So for that, you guys can refer to the Ionic icons. If you go it, let's say these are the different Ionic icons available. I'll just say delete. I'm going to use this one, right? So let's say filled sharp. I'll go with the filled one. Just use this. Okay, let me go ahead and take out this one. I'll just copy the code. I'm going to keep that into here. Let me look at it how it looks like. Say submit. Okay, it looks pretty, not bad. Okay, we have this small icon over here. We can increase the size of it, but for now I just keep it. So as soon as you click on that particular icon, so what I want to do is I want to close that particular to do, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to define another click event and say close to do. I'm going to create this method, and this to do will use the existing to dos, and I'll get an index here and going to splice it. So if you look at the section, so it's saying I have the delete count and the number. So I'm going to give this index and say I just want to delete one record from there. So here this index is going to define is here. I just say let's say I equals to index and then pass this index here. Say I. Let's go ahead and see how it works. Monday, purchase books, submit, click. Oh, wonderful. So if you look at it, the values keep on displaying as soon as I submit. As soon as I click on the small icon, it is disappearing. So this is the complete section of the code, and this particular code what we built, we are going to deploy it into the mobile device as a standalone application, right? So let me go ahead and check. This is how it looks like in the iPhone 12, and let me change it into a Samsung Galaxy phone. So if you look at it, it's quite similar to what we have it, but the components based on that, you can view the look and feel will definitely changes. So I'm going to do is I am going to create a total count of this, and then the total count will tell me how many counts of value of those to-dos are exist. So for that, I'll say something called batch. And this batch, it looks something like this in iOS, and Android is a bit different. So I'm going to say, okay, I want a primary color. This should be the total count that needs to be displayed at my top of the screen. On top of, I think the bottom of the section looks better. So after the card, I'm going to have this count. So if you look at it, just display it as 11, right? So I'm going to do is slot. I think it should be at the right, if I'm not wrong. No. Let me look at the syntax. I think it's end. Okay, looks like something is wrong with it. Okay, so I'm going to have one item here, ion item. I'll just say ion label and then say total, right? And then I'm going to display that next to it. So if you look at it, I have total 11, which I'm just displaying here. So I am going to do a divider. So let's have a divider. So ion item divider. I'll just pick up one label, one divider. So let me say this label goes over here, and then this value, I want it here. Okay, so I have this total 11. I can give a bit of margin. So what I'll do is I'll just say color, which is of type primary, and this total value is what I need. So for now, I'll bound it to a to-dos dot length, which is an array attribute. For now, if you look at it, total is 0. So I'm going to give a bit of style after this. Margin right. Just going to say 50 pixel. All right, so this is the total value. So as soon as I increase, if you look at it, the count is getting increased as well. So as soon as I decrease, the count is getting decreased. So this is very simple to do application what we built. So I'll just give a simple demo, but I want a bit of uh, the text, right? It's a very small text, so I'm going to do a bit, highlight a bit. Let me go ahead and see how can I do that. And label position stack, color primary, and going to say to do creation. I'll just give it color again, the primary color for this also, so that it will have unified. Okay, so if you look at it, this is the entire card which has a simple title and description, and as soon as I give a description and the title, it displays over here, and this card it disappears as soon as I click on this cross button. Now we have a well defined UI. The next step is I am going to deploy this application into my mobile. So I'm going to connect that mobile, and then I'll try to run the application. I'll use Xcode for iOS app, and then I'll use Android Studio for Android application. Let me go ahead and add iOS platform and Android platform specific usage here. So for now, I'll stop this session of the video, and the next session I'm going to include the required iOS and Android platform dependencies or by using capacitor, and then we are going to build the project, and then we'll be looking the output in my mobile screen. Thank you so much for watching and have a nice day.